Andy. Sorry, go ahead.
So Tim and I met when he was over at MLB, where some of you may remember him from. And Tim is now with Greenbox, and he immediately reached out. Tim has always answered my calls, answered my text, answered my emails. He's just one of those AEs that is on top of it, and he's all about servicing us, which I 100% appreciate. He helps with the service part, the customer service part. So he's willing to talk to underwriters, and right now we have a really interesting situation where the owner of his company has the loan now. So, I mean, they're willing to go to great lengths to get us, and we're going to have a lot of exceptions on this deal. So I'm just really grateful for that. Just going above and beyond. But the other thing that caught my interest was they'll do I-10 loans up to 89.9% LTV, which most lenders are between 15 and 20% down. So that was also an interest to me. But I'll let them talk about the rest of their programs. But Tim is by far one of my top AEs to work with. So
Well, thank you, Andy. Thank you very much. I appreciate that very much. Andy also is one of the best LOs or brokers I've ever worked with, ever. Andy is probably the most caring of her borrowers of any officer I've ever worked with. She does financial counseling with them. She really takes care of them, and that makes it really easy for me to do my job by having such a great partner. And I appreciate that, Andy. Let me just share my screen here so I can just bring up our presentation. So, are you guys all seeing that?
No.
No? Okay, hold on. How about
There
now?
you go. Yep.
There we go. Okay, so first things first, I'd like to apologize if you're seeing the side of my face. I'm using a secondary monitor and the camera is on the laptop, so it's not that I'm not looking at you. So,
Most of us do, so it's all good.
so anyway, our really going to focus on the I-10s and the P&Ls today, but I want to give you a general overview of what we do real quick so that you guys understand what we can do to help and how we can help you make more money, which is basically our whole drive. So, who is Greenbox? We've been around since 2015. We are a non-QM wholesale mortgage lender, but our whole point is to work with the customers that don't fit the agency box. And the agency box is really kind of expanding into the non-QM box, right? As companies realize that non-QM used to be just everything was a deal by deal basis, but now they're starting to make cookie cutter programs because it's easier for them and cheaper for them. We're sticking out of that, right? We're going to have those cookie cutter programs for you, but we also have that flexibility because we're really about self-employed borrowers, investors, foreign nationals, I-10 borrowers with programs that are designed for getting that borrower that loan as quickly as possible. Speed, certainty, and competitive pricing, right? Because we don't want to go into the loan giving our borrowers the idea that we're going to get them a loan and then we don't, right? So we have 10 different programs. Our max loan amount is 5 million, although newsflash, we just got announced. They're going to be announcing it in July. In California, we're putting out a new ultra program that'll go up to 10 million. We're starting it in California. We'll see where it goes from there. 90% LTV max and a 620 FICO minimum. Our basic product suite, you're going to see these words Elite and Elite Plus quite a bit if you're working with us. The Elite Plus is those cookie cutter programs. If you've got a borrower that fits a non-QM program to the T, Elite Plus is going to get you the very best pricing, the most streamlined deal. But then when the people that don't fit that cookie cutter, we've got the Elite. That's the workhorse. That's where we can make some changes and we can really flex things for you and get it done. We have that super jumbo that goes up to 5 million and now hopefully 10 million in California. We've got our non-prime, one day out of bankruptcy, we can do the loan. We have our I-10s, no social security number required, up to 89% LTV, and we have our closed-end seconds as well. And we can mirror those closed-end seconds to a first. So if our LTV limit is not quite getting you where you need to be, we can do a closed-end second with it to get you where you need to be. As far as our DSCR programs, again, we've got that Elite Plus, and then we've got the Elite. We do 4 national, I-10, and we do up to 5 to 8 unit on our DSCRs. Now, bank statement loans. I think we all know who does bank statement loans, but let's just kind of talk about it a little bit here. That self-employed business owners, tax-savvy high earners, credit-challenged entrepreneurs, high-income jumbo borrowers. And I'm going to add in there something new that I've been getting a lot. Influencers. We've got a lot of people that suddenly are making money. And what's the first thing you do when you start making money? You want to buy a house, right? And I've seen a lot of these influencers, and they haven't been in business for long periods of time. They don't know what they're necessarily doing. So bank statements allow you to get in there and sort of be an advisor for them and help them in that process. And they're going to probably continue to make money and continue to do new loans. All right. So how do we calculate our income? We have 3 ways. We have a fixed expense ratio, we have an expense factor letter, and we have the P&L statement. One of the things I love about this company is our fixed expense ratio works based only off the narrative letter, the business narrative. We don't going to deep dive and audit how many vehicles does a company have, how much money in stock do they have to keep, how many buildings do they own versus rent. We basically sit you down and decide you're a service-based business or you're going to be a stock, maintaining business, and we assign you an expense ratio very quickly, very easily, just based on the face data of the business. The expense factor is just a tax preparer stating an expense factor. We have a minimum of 10%. The great thing here is that does not need to be the person who does your taxes. Right? So if you need a letter and it's tax time and your CPA can't get to it, you can use someone just for that one deal to do that. Same thing with the profit and loss statement. That flexibility is huge. I couldn't tell you how many times I've seen a deal killed because the accountant can't be reached. Profit and loss statement options, right? With Andy, what we're working with is a guy who makes a big score once or twice a year, but then doesn't show any income any other time. So bank statements are going to be not telling the whole story, right? So profit and loss allows us to deal with that. We can show that he's making good income spread out over the whole year using the profit and loss. No bank statements are required at all with our P&L statements, loans. And again, we can change that tax preparer using even just for that one deal, which I think is incredibly powerful. The tax preparer simply attests that they have reviewed the borrower's tax returns before preparing the P&L, and there's no full audit, no lengthy verification. Bank statement, P&L, obviously, got a little bit of changes here, right? Bank statement, we have a maximum loan amount of 5 million, but you do have a minimum FICO. Yeah, you can pair it with up to $1 million second loan. We can do rural loans, and we have up to 50 DTI for up to 3.5 million, and no reserves are required under 65 LTV. The P&L, we have a max loan amount of 2.5 million, no bank statement required at all. We can pair with up to a 750K second loan. Income for seasonal income, no income docs required, and we have fewer conditions and faster closings with the P&L. So DSCR loans. Most people today are familiar with DSCR loans. I'd love to come back and get a deep dive on it if you guys have any questions on them too. But basically what it does is it takes the personal income out of the picture and we look at the income from the property, right? But again, this is one where sometimes properties are not cookie cutter.
Hey, Darren.
One of the things I love about
How's
this
it going?
is that with a long-term rental, we can use a 1007 market rent, or in a case of a refi, we can use the lease plus 2 monthly payments. But if the lease is less than the 1007, we can use up to 120% of the lease amount. Most lenders are just going to go with the lower number. We allow you to inflate that lease if the 1007 is better. Short-term rentals, we can skip the 1007 completely and use a free AirDNA as long as the market score is 60 or greater. And on a refi, we use Airbnb or Verbo statements in order to determine the actual cash flow that the property is receiving. So again, with program highlights on the long-term rental, up to 85% LTV purchase, 720 FICO, and the DSC ratio of 1.25 or better, 80% LTV rate on term refi, cash out up to 75% with a 660 FICO or better. We do first-time investors up to 80%. Rural and condo hotels are eligible. Properties under 400 square feet can be considered. That's going to be on a case-by-case basis. With the short-term rentals, FICO is down to 640. You can have multiple 30-day lates, 24-month housing event seasoning, non-permanent residents, aliens, I-10s, foreign nationals, and short-term rental without restriction. So eligible properties, we've got single family, PUD, townhome, 2 to 4 unit, warrantable, non-warrantable condos, condo hotels, and rural properties. Pretty much everything you're going to run into there. And great thing about it, we can do first-time home buyers. We can go down to a 0.75 on the DSCR ratio. You can invest it in an entity or as a personal. And we can do foreign nationals, and we do allow gifts of equity. So specialty programs. At Greenbox, we really believe that I-10 is a underdeveloped market. And there's a lot of great people out there that deserve to have a house just because they don't have a social security number. They're paying their taxes, they're doing everything right. We're here to help, right? So we go up to that 89% max LTV, no minimum FICO, 1.5 minimum or maximum loan amount. We do full doc, bank statement, or P&L. And of course, you can do the DSCR as we talked about earlier, right? Well, we built a reputation for executing I-10 loans reliably. No sudden surprises in the middle of the loan. We know this process. We know how to get it done. We handle full doc with W-2s with non-matching social security numbers. So we can do that. A lot of people won't. Other lenders reject that. We do alt doc with bank statement or P&L. And we do a strong referral opportunity, right? People that that can't handle I-10s can be sending stuff to you and you can get it done for them. We also have that super jumbo I was talking about. And as I said, in California, that's now pumping up to 10 million starting in July. We can do interest only on that with no restrictions. And you can do stackable with a $1 million second for up to $6 million in total financing, or I would imagine 11 in California. Not all the details are out on that yet. And you can do that, again, vested as an entity or as a person. And it's eligible for primary, secondary, and investment homes up to 2 to 4 unit. So that second liens as well, the closed-end second, up to 90% max CLTV, a 640 minimum credit score, $1 million loan amount, and we can do that full doc, bank statement, or P&L. So when you got a borrower, like I think you brought up earlier, people are waiting for the perfect scenario, right? There's a lot of people out there saying, oh, well, I've got that 3.5% mortgage rate. I don't want to lose that. Closed-end second for them, right? Stop waiting around for the market to come down. It's not going to do that, right? Up to 90% CLTV lets borrowers maximize their equity, right? If the 3 doc options I talked about, these are fast to turn around, they're reliable, and it's an ideal cross-sell. And that's why Greenbox. We've got an expansive product lineup. We have aggressive pricing, but we also have flexibility. We have quick turnaround times. We have a tailored service. Almost everybody who comes on this is going to tell you that they have a knowledgeable AE. And you do here too. I've been in this business for over 20 years. I know what I'm doing. But in addition to that, I've got an account manager who is aggressive. They're going to be calling you constantly, trying to get your loan through quickly and as cleanly as possible. I've got an assistant that I've got a whole team of people. If you have a problem and you call me and for some reason I can't answer, my assistant will be on it for you. If you have a problem in the portal, the assistant can help you or I can help you. You've got a whole process behind you because what we care about is your borrowers getting their loans. And in order to do that, we have to take care of you. And that's our tailored service and our execution. Basically, we're talking about just common sense lending, uncommon results. Getting you loans closed and you paid. That's what we're all about. We do have all the technology tools and they're constantly evolving. One of the things about being a little bit of a smaller shop is that we can change our technology fast. And we are doing that. Our portal is upgrading all the time. We have our, all the stuff that you need, the income desk, and we have an appraisal desk. We've got the website, the portal, and the pricing engine. We also have the scenario desk, which Andy's been working with me. And as she mentioned, we will keep going until we can find a way to get to say yes or we have to say no. But we will not stop until we can get it done or it's just not possible. I think we've been working 3-4 days on Andy's loan right now, and it's as she mentioned, it's gone all the way up to the owner of the company, and he's taking a look at it and seeing what he can do. And that's one of the nice things is too, we have a single owner to this company, so if he wants to do something, he can do it. Right. And you're not going to run into, oh, this guideline from our investor and we can't get around it and stuff. If we've got a good loan, we can handle that. And that's really about it for the presentation. Does anyone have any questions?
I actually do. I have an LO that texted me, so I don't have details. But he wants to know because he wasn't able to come on. He has a client that's currently renting because they had a Chapter 7 bankruptcy that is now 12 months out. They're looking for something and that's 365,000. They have 25% to put down. Is that something you guys would look at with the Chapter 7 bankruptcy over at 12 months out?
Well, our guideline is 24 months.
24 months.
But
Okay.
my recommendation is send me the scenario. Let me get it to my scenario desk and see. I'm not going to say yes because it's outside of our guidelines, but I'm more than willing to put some pressure on them and see if we can't get it done.
Okay, I'll tell him to reach out to you.
I have a question for you, Tim.
Yeah.
Do you do no ratio DSCRs?
Again, our official guidelines are down to 7.75. I would, my regional manager, Lewis, is on here as well today. I forgot to introduce him. He's been with the company longer. What would you say, Lewis? Is there a chance we can get that done?
I mean, we would honor it as an exception, but it's not on our program matrix. If you really think about it, if you're in this for the borrower, to give the borrower a loan based on cash flow when rent is 1,000 and mortgage is 2,000, I don't know.
Well, see, here's the problem. I originated a loan for someone about 4 years ago with a DSCR for an investment property. They were going to move into that property 6 years from the day of that. So they had a good 2-year prepayment penalty, and they were hoping to sell some of the properties that they already owned to pay it off and move into it when they retire. So 4 years down the line, it's becoming a burden on them, and their mortgage, they're paying 9%. They bought it in the height of COVID, and they wanted to do a cash out refi. They'd even do a rate and term just to lower that payment. So to get it below that. But the problem is is they had an appraisal done, and the appraiser checked a declining market on the appraisal. So they went from a 75% no ratio cash out DSCR to a 70%, which meant they're at 70% right now, which means they had to bring the cash for closing to the table, which at that time was about $17,000. They were unwilling to do it. Now they're more willing to do it, but the ratio just doesn't work for them. It did when I did the loan, but it doesn't today. So somehow I need to get this $300,000 mortgage with a PITIA payment of over like $4,500, at least down to something acceptable. I want to take they do short-term rentals, and they had a long-term rental for a while. It was kind of private. They had no lease, and right now with the short-term rental, it's a little saturated where they're at, and it's not like they've ever missed a payment. It's not like they're even struggling. It's just a hardship, and I need to get them out of that loan. So they have a 760 credit score. They make over $200,000 a year. I mean, they check all the boxes, but the ratio just doesn't work. She's bought properties for all their children, and the children pay the mortgages, but all the mortgages in their name. So it throws their DTI at about 90%. So I've been struggling with this for a while now, and I'm just onboarding with the company now. And the reason I'm onboarding with this company is because I went from a brokerage to a depository bank with a federal license, and they just didn't have enough non-QM products. And it seems like almost everything I get is non-QM. So somehow I need to find somebody, a place for this person who has been in good standing with everything. And their biggest argument is, hey, I make $200,000 a year. I've never missed a payment. I got good credit and I can't get a loan. And I keep telling them that, and the way it's based today, since 2008, predatory lending, it's based on your ability to repay. It's not based on your credit score. It's based on your ability to repay. And on paper, you don't have that ability. So non-QM is the only way they could go. And so I am looking for somebody or any wholesale bank that can get this person into that loan. If they've never missed a payment at 4,500, I don't see at 2,500, if we can get the interest rate down, why they could not, find that seat. I just can't find a bank to do it. Do you think that you have a program that could fit it too?
Yeah, I think what I'm sorry, Tim. I think what you should do is if you have the guts of the loan at 1008 to 1007 with accurate income and assets in there, send it to Tim, and he can work it. If they need, if it's 17,000 or maybe a little less and it's a sizable loan, you can make yield spread and origination, but you can take your yield spread and offer it as a broker credit to narrow the gap of what they have to bring to the table.
They're actually okay with bringing it to the table. So this is what kind of happened. I had a hard time finding a bank for them. Once I did, so I went through, they got an appraisal. They paid, I don't know, it was like $800,000 for this appraisal. I mean, $800 for this appraisal. And they were hoping to sell a property. And in that time frame, it didn't go. So I moved it to another wholesale lender, Champion, actually. And Champion got them approved, and they were actually willing to pay the closing costs out of pocket. But now they needed a new appraisal, AGA appraisal, because Champion does not accept a regular appraisal. And at that point, they were like, no, you know what? I'm not going to pay for another appraisal. And it's probably been a month since that's happened. So as far as an AGA appraisal, you know what I'm talking about, correct?
Appraisal's a month old.
The appraisal's a month old, but it's not AGA. It's not like, what do they call it? Association generated appraisal. Is that what it is?
It's not an AMC, you mean? It's just
AMC. It's just a regular appraisal. And I don't know why the first company that I went with went that way when I tried to broker it out. And then when I went to go to other companies, they wanted, was it an AMC? I'm not really familiar with the term. So it's a agency something appraisal. I don't know, but their appraisal wasn't good enough. And they were like, you know what, forget it. But they're still willing to try. I just need to find a home from them. I need to find a program. They're good. As a realtor, I've been a realtor for 26 years, and I've been a MLO for 6.
John,
And
I'm thinking what might be best is for you to get on a Zoom or a call with them after so that you guys can talk more about this specific situation because we are almost out of their time and I want to make sure if somebody has a general question, they get it in before I have to move on.
all right, sounds good.
Okay.
If I could I have 2 minutes of y'all's times because I've been
Yeah, you
taking
have
some
3 more minutes total
notes.
before I cut you off.
You got it. I've been in the business 27 years. I'm typically always the NEXA rep, no matter what platform I'm on. I sit in the Zoom room for NEXA every day. It's not there today. You guys must have that closed today. We're getting Tim access to sit in the Zoom room, so you'll always have coverage with us. When I join these meetings, I never know what I'm walking in. It's my fourth today. The first thing I heard was Zig Ziglar. Man, I when I was in college, I got my first sales job at an alarm company, high pressure, one shot sales. The owner of the company knew Zig Ziglar, and he used to come in and give us sales lessons. And
Oh my God, that had to be so cool.
amazing. He also used to know. He knew Tom Hopkins too. If you ever heard of Tom Hopkins,
Uh-huh.
so
That's so
um,
awesome.
I just wanted to mention that. You also said about being uncomfortable. I'm the area sales manager for my team. I tell everybody who comes on because they're learning new products, new systems, and all that. The best way to learn this business is to make a mistake that costs you money because you never do it again.
Right.
Unfortunately, people don't like when I say that, but it's the truth.
Oh,
Uh, quality, how fast are we? We get asked that all the time. We're as fast as you want us to be. It's up to you guys. It's the quality of the package. There's a bank statement loan submission and it doesn't have bank statements in there, you're going to say we're terrible, we're slow, we don't underwrite good. We got to have something to underwrite. I mentioned the Zoom room. We're not a super broker. There's a handful of true non-QM lenders in this world. We sell to the street. So we can make it, we write our own guidelines. We make exceptions. If you're requesting an exception, I mean, you guys all seem very seasoned. If you guys are requesting an exception, assets win. You know, if you're looking for an exception, show me $500,000 in a 401k. Show me a couple hundred grand in a bank account. Show me on a DSCR they're an experienced investor with many properties under the belt. And when you have something like that, Tim will ask you those questions. So, you know, really, when we submit for an exception, we get one shot. We want to put it in as pretty as could be. And then finally, one thing that's kind of cool about Greenbox, if you send in a loan and we can't do it, we'll send you a counter. Can't do it at 80, but we'll do it at 75. For those that were around from the subprime days, that's what it reminds me because that's how subprime lenders used to work. And then finally, I know I have 30 seconds left. The process. You guys send in a loan. It goes to disclosure. If the necessary documents are in there, if it's $1 million purchase and you require $200,000 down per the contract, the $200,000 proof needs to be in the submission. You know, all the normal stuff needs to be in this submission. Goes to setup. Setup gets docs out immediately. Once docs are signed and they come back, it goes to underwriting. We're underwriting sometimes same day, typically 24 hours. When a deal is clear to close, we get a clear to close in the morning. We don't tell you 48 to 72 hours. We get a deal clear to close in the morning. Its docs will go out that evening. We're East Coast and I'm East Coast, Tim's East Coast. Our ops work both hours. We're based out of California. So oftentimes you'll get responses, you know, into, if you're East Coast, into 7, 8 o'clock at night. and you'll just be wondering, are these guys still working? But that's all I got. Tim is very capable. He's definitely here to take care of you. He's got all kinds of support with a sales assistant or account managers. Our bulldogs, it's not a good match for every broker. The broker that sends in sloppy files and we have to call every day, hey, the loan's in the portal. We're missing this, this, and this. Is this really a deal or is it a make-believe deal? You send in real deals. We're calling you every day. What's up with this? We want to get this thing clear to close. We need one more doc. So our account managers can be annoying to lesser experienced LOs. Let's put it that way. If you get what they're saying, just get us what we want and we'll clear the deals.
Awesome. Thank you
I'm
so
done. It's good
much.
to be working with you. I hope to see you guys, any of y'all in the Zoom room, and I'm getting Tim credentials, so he'll be manning that as well.
Awesome.
Nice
And
meeting you.
One
Adrian
last quick
asked if
question.
you guys are willing to send your slides. If you send them to me, I will forward it with the YouTube link from the recording to Everett. So when I say to everyone in the downline, you're getting about 133 LOs access in my distribution list for my downline.
And what's the minimum loan amount for a DSCR?
100.
Okay.
And Louis, are we okay with sending the deck?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Awesome.
Believe it
Thank
or
you.
not, if you have a deal under 100, even 50,000, I hate to say it, but UWM does the low amount.
Yeah, they don't have a minimum.
I mean,
That,
that's how I'm transparent. I believe in
Yeah.
karma. I tell you something good, it's going to come back to me. I know all my competition. If I can't do a deal, I'll tell you, try Champions, try Change, try DPave Home Express, whoever. And I've just found that LOs appreciate that and they typically come back.
Absolutely, for sure. Tim, expect a call from Daniel Ortiz probably in the next hour.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
By the way, we're closing loans for NEXA every month. Like
Yeah.
you guys
Awesome.
aren't anything new to us. We're closing loans.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you guys. Appreciate you being here and sharing with us. And if you, I'm going to stop the recording.